Welcome students to the second part of the video where we are discussing the succulent or the fleshy fruits. And we were discussing about berries, and here in this particular video we'll be looking at two very specialized cases of dealing with berries, that is the Pepo and the Hesperidium. And we'll go on to have a detailed discussion about the other kinds of succulent fruits, that's the Drupes. So the first case, it's what is called a Pepo. Pepo is a false berry where the rind is of course the outermost part of the fruit. That rind, which is actually the developed exocarp, is not separated from the mesocarp. So that's a very important point. And in addition, as far as the Pepo is concerned, the seeds do not separate from the placenta. Now we know that placenta is the tissue in which the ovules, that is the later seeds, develop, and naturally the seeds become separate. But in this particular case, the seeds do not separate from the placenta. And in addition, another interesting development is that the placenta is incurved to form a septa. So that's the interesting features about Pepo. Now we can have a detailed look at a standard case of Pepo, which is the cucumber. And here this diagram will help us to understand the key features of a Pepo, the key features of what each morphological part has developed into. And when you look at the innermost point, we can see that it's the placental growth is something like the spokes of a wheel. It's going into the middle portion, and you can see bunches of seeds, seed capsules, seed groups developing at the rim of the inner curve. So this is the feature when one look at the inner portion of a typical Pepo. And of course we have the mesocarp along with the rind, which forms the outer part of the fruit. So the rind comes first, then we have the mesocarp going on. We have the inner endocarp, and of course there's the placental tissue. A very important examination point of view as far as when we discuss fruits is what is the edible part of a fruit? It's an usual question. As far as the Pepo is concerned, in fruits belonging to this category, it's the endocarp, the mesocarp, and the placenta, which usually is the case. An exception is melon, where only the endocarp and placenta are edible. So not the point about melon. We are going to a next very interesting special case dealing with berries, and that is Hesperidium. And Hesperidium, the example is more than enough to get an idea of what we are dealing with. Of course, we are the example is the orange. So once again, when we look at a typical diagram, a cut section of the orange, we know that there is something like a kind of a juicy hair-like thing, which is filling the inner portion, and that portion is the edible part. It's watery, and also we can see that on the innermost point, around a particular middle part, we can see the arrangement of the seeds. So as far as the Hesperidium is concerned, this is the standard morphological features which we see. So There are some very key points as far as this particular fruit type is concerned. Of course, the skin is epicarp. Then we have the inner mesocarp. Not the point that a very important point that the epicarp has oil glands in it, in the sense that we know that when we squeeze the orange skin, there is something like a liquid coming out of it. So there's oil glands in the epicarp. Endocarp is membranous, and the key edible part is the juicy hairs. Now, looking into other features, other important points dealing with Hesperidium, it is a superior berry. So, what is a superior berry? It's something which we discussed in a previous video. It basically means developing from a superior ovary. It has multiple chambers, and each chamber is covered by a papery endocarp. So that's very important. The endocarp is quite papery. Another key feature is, I already mentioned that the ovary is developed from a superior group. More than that, the ovary is polycarpillary as far as syncarpous. And a very important point, which I just mentioned, is it is the endocarp plus the placental hair, not the point, the placental hair, which is the juicy part, that edible part. So once again, not the point, the placental hair. The mesocarp is fibrous, and the epicarp, as already mentioned, has a glandular skin, which basically means that when you squeeze, liquids come out of it. Another example of Hesperidium is the lemon. Going on to the next division, as far as the succulent or fleshy fruits is concerned, is a very important case from the NEET examination point of view. It's the Drupes or Stony Fruits. It once again, as it comes under the category of succulent fruits. So what are the key features? Now the fruit wall, which of course is the pericarp, has all the three distinct layers. That is the epicarp, the mesocarp, and endocarp. So not that point. And drupes, all the three layers are well developed. That's a very key point. And also, why is it called stony fruits? Stony fruits. The reason is that endocarp is stony and usually contains one seed, but there are exceptions. For example, endocarp it contains 2 seeds in sisyphus and 3 seeds in a particular plant called borassus. So note the point about the stony endocarp. Going on to the details of the other parts of the fruit. Epicarp, of course, is the outer skin. Here the pulpy and edible part, a very important point. The pulpy and the edible part is the mesocarp. And as far as discussion about drupes is concerned, there's a very interesting exception. That's the almond. Why is it an exception? Because in almond, all the 3 pericarp layers, which means the epicarp, the mesocarp, and the endocarp, are not edible. So almond is a particular plant where in the fruit, all the 3 pericarp layers, that is the epicarp, the mesocarp, and the endocarp, are not edible. So that's a very important point. Now, let's look at 2 very important examples in this case, in the drupes. 2 important. I would say it's too important to miss something like that. So, first one is, of course, a fruit which has developed and it has its origins in India. Of course, the botanical name indicates it's mango. That is the Mangifera. The botanical name is Mangifera indica, points to the fact that the fruit had its origins in the Indian subcontinent. So mango, when you look at a cut section, you can see that there's a skin, the outermost skin, of course, that's the epicarp. You have the inner mesocarp, which is edible, not the point. The edible part of mango is the mesocarp. So that's a very important point. Then you have the stony endocarp. That is the toughened skin-like thing on the stony endocarp, and inside the endocarp is the seed. Going on to the second equally important example in drupe, in this category drupes, is of course our coconut tree, the cinereal. The botanical name is Cocos nucifera. And once again, we call the coconut tree something like a tree in which no part is, every part of the tree is equally useful. So, looking at that aspect, this is a particular example which should be taken very seriously. So coconut, if you look at the cut section of the coconut, the fruit of the particular tree, a very important characteristic feature which most of us would be knowing is the fibrous part, which is the mesocarp. Now let's look at each part in a detailed manner. Very important. Once again, I reiterate that coconut is an example which has a high chance of being asked in the examination. So we begin with the outermost part, which of course is the epicarp. And in coconut, the epicarp is membranous. Going on to the mesocarp, as I already mentioned, mesocarp is of very high economical importance because the coir is developed from the mesocarp, and in coconut, the mesocarp is fibrous. Going on to the endocarp, which is stony, very tough structure. And another usually asked question in the NEET examination is the white part and the water inside of the seed, which is the endosperm. So note that the watery part, so not this part, the watery part of the coconut is the liquid endosperm. This is very important. And you can usually see 3 holes on the top of the fruit, and that is the remains of the style, which is again a very important point. And there's a development at the bottom, which is the embryo. So that's it with this particular video. The next video we'll be continuing with the discussion of fruits, and in the next video we'll be looking at the other division which comes under the succulent group, that is the pome, and along with it we'll be also looking at the third important division under fruits, that is the composite fruits. So thanks for watching this video, and if you feel that the video is good and useful, please like and also subscribe to our School Mind channel. So thanks for watching, and this fruit video series is continuing.